Oh, and I got a haircut. Don't know if you noticed. Oh, look at all the dust on my lens. Crap. Mm. Oh, forget it. This is.
It was a good haircut. Don't let the dust detract from it.
Okay, we are unpacking our crap.
What? This is not crap. This is trim.
2 against 1. You lose.
I win. Always.
So, there's a whole bunch of different kinds. This stuff's interesting. So,
don't even. It's just MDF, okay?
This is your baseboard.
Can you guys explain what MDF means?
It's manufactured crap, basically.
Press board together.
It's garbage.
MDF, manufactured crap. I don't know where the C comes in.
A lot of trim is MDF.
In some languages, D before C.
What? It's easier to make pretty trim with MDF.
Don't know where that came from.
Easy to make for the manufacturer.
But it's got the notches. Yeah. So depending on what kind of baseboard you get, you either put like the paneling on the... Who am I talking to? You?
I don't.
You. Well, so you put the paneling
you can talk to... I'll hide behind the camera until you're talking to me and the camera.
You can talk to this guy.
You normally can put the paneling on the wall, and then basically to like clean up your top edge, you put like some sort of chair rail or a trim board. And then on the baseboard, you just put the baseboard right over the top of the wainscoting. But in this case, because it's notched, it actually puts a groove. So in this case, we're actually going to put the baseboard on the ground first, actually. Yeah, that I think is the baseboard. Put the baseboard on the ground. Then the wall paneling will actually fit in that little notch. And then same on the top, so the chair rail, this will actually be upside down. Chair rail will fit over and cover any of those weird gaps. So we'll have a nice straight cut along the top. But if you don't, this kind of hides any of those imperfections. So, yeah, so you want to get wall paneling that's about that thick, which it looks like we do.
Wall paneling. See, now I know what MDF is. It's this manufacturer, so it's not real wood, yeah.
Hey!
Okay, but there's our wall paneling. It's about that thick. And it's been inside for a week now.
Yep.
This has only been inside for almost 24 hours.
24 hours. So because wood expands and contracts, you don't want to just install it, nail it, glue it on, because it'll start expanding and contracting. You want it to acclimate to your home's temperature and humidity. So let it sit in the house first, then go ahead and start installing. So we're basically just going to unwrap everything, start taking some measurements, and start cutting boards to start. We'll start with the baseboard, then do the wall paneling, then do the trim piece on top.
Sounds like it's easy. That probably takes like...
We'll be done like an hour ago.
Yeah, an hour ago. we're done, actually. Here it is. Okay, here is the... I never did a final look after I wiped it down that night. That night being a few nights ago.
The details, really.
It's all fuzzy.
Hit the story now.
So, here we are. It's all...
Actually pretty darn impressive. So when tile gets wet, it has a darker look to it. And when grout is wet, it also has a darker look. So everything kind of lightens up afterwards. So it's a little bit lighter than... when we finish.
I don't quite have the corner. Yeah, when it's you can't see it, but there's a little rough there. That was me not getting all the sandy parts out.
Yeah, so it's a little lighter now than it was. Anyways, I'm okay. I like it.
It's impressive,
especially that 45-degree angle.
No, don't side with her. She's the enemy.
Oh, I was talking about my ability to wipe in a 45 degree. Okay, fine. First cut. Not going to video every single cut here, but...
Just the first one.
Yeah.
Almost killed yourself in the process.
I almost tripped on the way in on this.
So different ways to cut using a miter saw. Like a lot of times you'll cut flat and everything. So if, you're going... plenty of different ways to get all your different angles that you need. For the most part, it's going to be up against the wall like this, and we need to cut this way because we're going to have another board, meeting into it here. So note, if we just cut it flat like this, if we had another flat piece coming up here, it wouldn't really fill in all the gaps. So you very specifically cut a 45. The other one will be cut up 45, and they'll just have a nice little meet there. Yes. So this one I'm just getting a first cut, then we'll take our measurement to cut the other side.
Do you need me to hold it up?
Nah, I should be all right. So I just need to put pressure down so this sits flat. Make sure the saw is somewhere near there. If there's the edge is always beat up when you get it from the store, so you just want to basically cut off the edge. And there we have a nice 45-degree angle cut.
Sweet.
It's pretty.
With our cheap crappy board.
So as the other board comes in here, you notice, well, no, I guess it's the wrong. We'll cut it.
You'll see.
Just pretend I didn't say anything. Okay.
Now we have to measure.
I have a measuring tape. So the back wall, again, I cut it. You don't want to measure from the front. You want to measure from the back because the back is actually what's going up against the wall. So,
Do you need a pencil?
you think I need pencils? Whoa. What do you take me for, a non-pencil holder?
You got one?
A pen.
Oh,
Should
pen-
be
pen'll
decent
work.
enough, right? Okay. So it was around 60 inches. It's always rough and your walls are always a little off. The room in general is probably supposed to be 60 inches, but at 59 3/4.
Look at that. Oh yeah.
So we're trying to cut the long pieces first because if we do cut it too short and it's not usable, we could always use it as a smaller piece for one of the other areas. So if we do screw up this cut, then we just use it for spares for some of the others. So I cut this one 45 degrees this way. Let's now rotate.
Oh, you gotta do the other side.
Yeah. You could try and hold it upside down and do another. It's just easier to.
Move this.
That's why crown molding gets so complicated. Because there's so many different angles that you use and everything. But instead of flipping it upside down, it just, I need to cut this angle this way and this angle that way. So now the nice thing with this, here's my mark. You can kind of bring it down just to make sure it's going to be cutting
on the mark.
on the mark. And again, I marked up here and down here. I want to make sure, because I marked it straight, I'm going to be cutting this way. I don't want to start cutting over here. You have to be careful with where you actually cut. This thing does have a laser line. Not all miter saws do. I don't know if you can see the laser is actually on that mark. Okay. Right now I'm putting all the pressure on this part here. If I do, as I cut, the whole thing will just fall off this way because there's a lot of weight over here. So I actually need to put pressure on this so that when it finishes cutting, it doesn't just fall off. If this piece, which is the scrap piece, falls, we don't care necessarily. So because it lifted up, the saw could have been cutting this, so that might not be a perfect finished edge, whereas this should be because it shouldn't have moved. So,
Nice.
thank you. So here,
Now you can see how they would fit together.
like so. Let's go fit it to the wall and see how we did.
All right. I'm just gonna keep it rolling. That's how confident I feel in you.
I'll walk fast.
Just keep it rolling.
All good, good.
One wall down. This is almost done.
This is one wall like a half a way down. So, just need to fit it. Now the nice thing is, because they're actually doing panel board, we don't have to worry where the old, this baseboard is actually shorter than the old baseboard.
Oh,
but
that's lame.
there's going to be a panel board here that's actually going to cover all that. So we're less concerned. We'll want it to be flat, so we'll end up scraping a lot of this off. But for the most part, you can see that fits basically in the corner there.
Yes.
And
over there.
that's basically right in the corner there. So, yeah, we'll probably want to attach it as we go so that we can get more accurate measurements to cut all the others.
So we should scrape that
We'll
off.
probably start scraping the wall now, and then attach this one, then probably measure one of the other sides, attach that, and go that way.
All right. I'm not gonna baby you guys all the way through this, so you know.
Oh yeah.
We won't treat you like Allison.
Hey.
Just
When we thin set and when we grout, we got a little bit of stuff on the walls. Also, when you take off the baseboard, like right along the top, it's caulked to the wall. So there's a little bead of caulk that actually sticks out. So when we took a scraper to come along the wall, it actually peels off a nice big chunk of that caulk. So it doesn't seem like all that thick, but when you put the new baseboard on, if that bump is there, it kind of sticks out a little bit. And if it's not consistent, you don't have a good, consistent, smooth baseboard when you put the new one back on. So just went through and scraped up each of the walls to make sure they're nice and smooth so we can apply the new baseboard.
Gavin, why is this taking forever? Because you keep pulling the camera out? Alright, you don't have to explain. We're just gonna nail.
Fit it all in, we're nailing it in. This is the easiest way to nail it in. Air compressor, so you need to actually turn it on. It starts compressing the air at a certain pressure. And then the gun is set to a certain pressure to be able to shoot it in. So, gotta wait for a little bit to pressurize. Nothing happened because I likely turned it off before I actually...
There we go.
Basically has a 2x4 on the top, 2x4 on the bottom, and then a bunch of studs in the middle. So like because there's a 2x4 already sitting along the ground, we can just nail this wherever we want because it's going to go into that stud. Were you filming that already?
I did, yeah. I was like, oh, he's like, it was kind of mid.
Yeah. So we don't have to be too careful where we actually nail this thing. So the nail gun in general, it's not a great hose connector, so you lose some air there, but it's just a whole bunch of nails. They fit in nicely. It won't engage until that thing is pushed all the way in, so it doesn't do anything, even though it's fully pressurized. It waits until...
Oh, so until you have it up against the wall. And
yeah, exactly. Although there was one time I was doing hardwood where I needed to get it into a corner, so I was actually specifically holding that back, and I literally shot. I have a picture shooting myself through the finger.
Don't hurt yourself.
So like when people shoot people with a nail gun in the movies, that's all fake?
Typically, yes.
What?
But there are contractors that they very specific. They jimmy rig something to pull that back so that they can just shoot it however they want to, because it does make it harder sometimes for getting in corners like that. But.
Oh, so fun.
So we want to put it into a flat spot, not into a corner.
Wow, look at that.
Doesn't feel like that got into a stud. So there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, sealant. Do I need anything else? Anything to use to apply the said sealant?
No.
No?
Get a nice sponge.
A sponge.
Like the one that we were using the other day?
Like for the bath.
Like the ones they have in the back or the ones they have on the shelf?
Right.
Like, what kind of sponge?
I could use a good loofah.
Oh boy.
now he wants me to loofah him.
I told you you'd pay for this.
Alright. That does look fun.
It is. So we measured from the wall to where the closest stud is, or stud in the middle of the wall. It's 23 3/8.
So we're just cutting.
We're doing something.
We're cutting down this line we marked. And
we want to cut a nice straight cut. The circular saw will cut a pretty darn straight cut, but we want a guide for it. So we clamp. Yeah, be nice if we had a 2x4.
alright, I'll get a 2x4.
Okay.
I like the workhorse here.
Gavin or the.
Gavin too, yeah.
I'm just a horse to you. So because we're going to be using the rest of this board, you don't want to damage it too much. But
These are light clamps.
oh, wait, so what am I doing? Yes.
Quick grip. Do we want to clamp on this side?
Don't you want to clamp on the opposite side?
Nope.
It's not going to get in the way of...
Oh, you mean this side?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Remove the trash can.
The workhorse?
You want two of these, like, on that side to make them...
So cold.
I wish I had my dad's garage now.
I know. Yeah, it says record.
Okay. Get some close-up of the cut.
This is the one we're keeping. So, nice straight cut, which will, if you're ever making a cut, there's a bit of a rough edge there because no saw is ever going to give you a nice clean cut. So we don't want that actually exposed, so that's going to be at the wall side. Another board will keep it here, and then you'll have caulk in that corner anyway, so you completely cover that up. This nice clean side is going to be more visible in the middle of the wall.
So, again, do you lay this all out before you do the...
Nah.
Really?
Because, yeah. You fit this into the groove, make sure the whole thing's actually in the groove. And there you have one piece. Then we'll have another trim piece covering the top. This meets up, we measured our stud, calculated it to be right there, so we should be able to nail along here. And then the next one meets up, we'll be able to nail along there. So, first cut down.
But you're saying we don't nail that up right yet?
No, let's go ahead and cut at least for this whole one, because we don't want to, you see, no wall is straight, so even though it's nice and tight in that bottom corner,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a gap there. So the baseboard may be flat, or this might be flat, so we'll wait till we get that next one on to see exactly how this butts up. So we don't want to nail it here when it really should have been there. So there's a little bit of wiggle room, so we want to just make sure. A board is going to come up here and cover that gap anyway, so it's not a huge deal if there's a gap there. So,
Bigger deal if there's a gap over there.
yeah.
He said butts up. Bead.
I want a 1/4 inch bead. So I'm going to cut this.
Oh, you cut with those. That makes sense.
It's a nice knife. Pinch it so it gives you a round hole.
So it actually had a 1/4 inch on there where it said it?
Yep, 1/4 inch, 5/8, or 5/16, a few others. Now the annoying part. No. So you have it. That thing.
Right. To punch the...
Yep. So, cut the 1/4 inch there. We need to puncture the actual thing. Hopefully I punctured something.
That looks like it.
Okay.
So this is Liquid Nails paneling. Da da da.
Interior paneling. Squeeze it a little bit. We have a gun. So we fit these two. This one's going to be in the corner. This one's going to be next to it. We already measured and cut the hole for the vent for it. Basically, this is liquid nails. We already cut the hole. It's ready to put on. You want to put a 1/4 inch bead no closer than about 1 inch from each of the corners, and you want it basically every 8 to 12 inches from each other. So you just kind of do a zigzag pattern all along it, and then you stick it up. So.
And you don't have to like smooth it out or anything?
Nope. Doesn't have to be perfect by any means.
What was that little thing?
Don't ask.
I was.
Thanks for pointing that out, John.
I thought maybe that was on purpose. I guess it was. It looked very intentional to me. Nice speed. Smiley face. Sweet.
Don't know what that is.
Is that a tongue?
Okay, so there's one. You want to put them on together because these fit so tightly.
Okay.
There's a tiny groove here and there's not a groove here, so you want to make sure that this seam between the two is nice and tight. So before he just puts that on to get it all nice and set, we definitely want both to be ready. You want a nice consistent bead, so you don't want to like hurry it up because like some might be thicker areas than others.
Get a close up. Close up. It does good focusing, or sometimes. Most of the time it does. Here, real quick. Get a close up. Oh. Except for when there's not much light, then it doesn't focus as well. I'll hand it back to you. Oh, zigzag. I like that zigzag.
I always overdo it just to make sure that it's nice and stuck. Because if you get these stuck, but then there's nothing in the middle, it could possibly there's any number of things that could keep it from staying nice and flat. So to make sure it stays flat on the wall, put a decent amount of glue everywhere. So we're gonna walk this in. So you want to fit the bottom. Remember the baseboard had a groove, so you want to fit it in this way so it fits in the groove. Yours is in the corner. Doesn't look like it's in the groove yet. There it goes. Okay, then this. Fit in the groove. And there's that little mini thing that I was talking about. And there's already glue on my fingers. Feel pretty good. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
I don't think you're going to get it much closer than that. So, we specifically put this crease right where there's a stud. So now we're going to nail on either side of this so that it is matched to the stud.
I guess I don't need to use
It helps.
Here we go. How far? About an inch, you say?
About an inch away from any of the edges. So I'd probably just do a bead around the whole edge. And that's a good 1/4 inch bead. I've seen beads in my day.
Oh, I got a little cocky there. No pun intended.
How long have you been waiting to use that line? Actually, this is liquid nails.
Oh, yeah, dang it.
Less funny.
Totally lost. This is not quite. Zigzags or smiley faces?
Zigs. Let's zig it up.
Enough?
Perfect.
I'm gonna go clockwise now. Throw it off.
Wow, I don't even know what I'm looking at anymore.
Oh, I thought I could make it. No.
You call that a straight line?
Don't think I did.
Now what? Now what?
Oh, it's going zigzags, but if you want something else. Under pressure, I can't think of it.
Beautiful. Okay.
Alright.
We're going to need both of us, so we
Yeah,
are basically
sorry,
going
no.
to take these two and transfer them directly over here. One's going to be at the angle and one's going to be at the flat piece. So.
Music is paused so we don't run into copyright issues. It's important.
Always looking at the legal side of things, aren't you? So,
We are testing.
we're going to have to put a panel here. And we're going to want a nice finished edge along here so we don't, even if we try and get a nice cut, it sometimes frays the edge. So we don't want to cut here as much as possible. So this is eventually going to be over here. So we're basically having to do all the measurements to notch out around this whole area.
Oh yeah.
So as you can see, this is basically 1.5 inches. So we're measuring 1.5 inches out here. Measuring, it's about 1 inch down. And then underneath here, go down further.
Oh.
Underneath here, we're going to have to account for that going at an angle. So like I made that mark because that's where it goes straight down. And then it starts the angle. So I'm going to have to measure exactly how far over that angle is. But there's the bottom there. So I'm basically going to draw it on here. We'll cut this out with a jigsaw, fit it so we can test and see if it all looks nice. And if it fits nicely, then we'll go ahead and scribe that same onto a full panel that we're going to use. So this is just a scrap panel that we can throw away just in case we screw up this cut. So,
Even though we never screw up cuts, we like to just make sure.
Oh my goodness, I forgot to get dishwasher.
and if you'll notice on the top here,
It's on video.
this isn't even completely level. That's caulking right in there. Over time,
Yeah.
houses shift and everything. There's caulking in every part of your house, and you'd never realize it. But because there's caulking there, things shift. The caulking is kind of bunched up a little bit. So like that, this
yeah.
resting on the top of there. So we might actually want to cut it a little bit above to give us a little bit of room, and then we'd actually caulk in that gap there. So it's not even essential we get it absolutely perfect, but we want it as close as possible.
It's all about the caulking.
Is that another song title?
What was mine yesterday? Dang it! I should write these down.
We'd be billionaires.
Yeah, I have to make this song too. Okay, we're on.
Dylan.
Hey, Dylan.
What are you doing? Shut that door. What are they? Are they playing something?
All right, I'm gonna have to cut that out. Oh, curses. Okay.
Cutting their curses out?
Yeah.
Language.
The curses really actually draw people's attention.
Ouch. Dang it! Can you hold that,
Did you
please?
just hit yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Ow! Did you get that on video?
Yeah,
too?
I did.
hope so.
I was just gonna say we had this great exchange about the multi-tool and everything, but
I don't even see this multi-tool.
We're still capturing all the good stuff on camera. You're getting hit in the head.
yeah, that's true. I
got
got
hit in the
myself. Got liquid nails. I just wanted to get one more shot of.
Of the liquid nails.
This piece was the big pain in the butt. This is
Like this is the
Yeah.
This is like the magical piece in the sense of. Gavin worked his magic.
I now have a new nickname. I am Gadgen.
Master
Sir
Gadget.
Do I get an article like the Gadgen?
The Gadget.
It's a beautiful thing. And then one little line right up there. Boom. And a zigzag. That's what I would have called out. And a giant zig and a zag. Oh, you're mixing it up.
Completely out.
Oh,
I was just trying to use as much as I could. So I think we're good. But this one was a pain. We actually laid it. You recording, picking up stuff off the ground?
oh, so, boy, no, I didn't mean to. I wanted to get this little nubbin thing off.
This thing was a pain to cut. There were a lot of edges, and we had to make sure everything matched up just perfectly. So
So now I had to record the fitting. Beautiful. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
like a glove.
And this is where we're talking about multi-tool. We'll see.
So yeah, this edge sticks out just past that wood over there, so we're gonna have to shave this down a little bit. It was worth, rather than take it out, make a nice mighty fine cut and make that all nice and straight, it's gonna be easier in place to use with multi-tool. Which we basically sounded like an infomercial last time we were talking about.
Can't wait to use the multi-tool.
Ooh, the multi-tool. Do you want to use the multi-tool?
It's so accurate.
Such an amazing piece of equipment.
All right. Oh, time for nail gun.
Okay. It's all you. Unless you want to.
All right.
And I'm here.
You're here. I'm recording. I'm still recording. I didn't turn it off.
Lazy recording.
So for those who don't have a nail gun like this,
Or that don't have a Gavin.
or a Gavin, yeah. What was my nickname for you this time? not Gavin,
Gavin
but
Gray? Gavin Gray.
Dejan. I believe that was
Was that it?
No, it wasn't.
Is it on video somewhere?
I don't think so.
No, it
Is
wasn't.
it rolling?
Oh, good. We wanted to. Yes.
We've run into that problem before.
We ran out of nails before and we were just making holes in the.
Allison wasn't supposed to hear that.
Oh, I was
She's-
fooled. It's fine.
Oops. Oh, some of this recording's wanting. Sorry. Alright, I thought I would quickly show the caulking I'm doing, even though Master Gavin isn't here. But he's left me to my own doing on this. So with all these gaps, I am caulking. So here I've done some of this I've already done, and this one I haven't. So just to give you an idea, mostly before, and I'll do a little bit after. Alright, here we are, we're done with the caulking. Just a quick little update. It should look even better when we paint it, but look at that awesome line there. All right, so there you have it. On to the next step, painting tomorrow.